Today, Tony's latest market thoughts. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, working latest post covering finance and problem news with a distinctively Australian flavour. And I'm joined again by Tony Locantro from Alto Capital. Hello, Tony.
G'day, Martin. I thought it was an appropriate time to start talking about investing because, we can survive the crisis, but ultimately we need money.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very important conversation, and investing hasn't gone away. In fact, there are always opportunities the other side of the dark clouds, but you have to have some intestinal fortitude firstly, and secondly, I guess you have to actually think a bit differently. And I would say that some of our viewers hang out for these particular posts, and we should mention Cookie Boy, who's particularly keen to get your thoughts.
Yeah, well, I'm here because of Cookie Boy. So there's $10 to a charity. It's a funny thing because when I see the Dow down 2,000 points, the fear, you do get the fear. And the beauty about speculation is that it makes you feel stupid, and you are supposed to feel stupid throughout the year. You think, why the hell did I buy that? Your friends and family will laugh at you. But on the other side, you've got small companies that become much bigger ones, and you can make a lot of money. I don't apologise for that. I look at small companies that become bigger ones. Some viewers in the comments call them penny dreadfuls. Well, if they actually research the company, they're not. I mean, the likes of some of these gold companies are in the pennies now, they're $13. It's just what I do. But when you see those 2,000 Dow nights down, you have the next day is called a fundamental free day where everything's sold off, and someone with the courage to put a bid below the market will get hit by someone that wants out. So it's like, I think, what the property market could be, but it's on steroids. It's much quicker, and you've got price discovery, which is quite instant. So, we've had some great buying over the last couple of weeks. I actually had one client who came in and said, look, let's just buy as much as we can of the best stocks, and we're getting stocks half the price, which was amazing. And already some of them have put on 30, 50, up to 100%, because that's the dead cat bounce, or the bounce you get after you poleaxed. But I still believe that the US market is going to go below 20,000 points. I think it's still massively overvalued. It's been pumped up. I think our market is still overvalued as well. I think our bank's shares could get closer to $10, $11. The likes of ANZ, NAB, Westpac, the Commonwealth is up there in the 50s, 60s. So, pretty scary times, but you've got to stay focused on it and move on from there.
Right, so just one question, Tony. Do you tend then to buy and hold, or do you trade the volatility?
In my early days as an advisor, I was a trader. I ran a trader, and some clients I've traded. I don't like trading. I think it's gambling, and I think charts provide an excuse to gamble. It's like becoming addicted to a drug. It's a drug. So I'd rather identify the company, advise the company, raise their money until they become a bigger company, and sell. Look, there's a lot less money in that for me. But to me, it's like red or black, or playing roulette where they throw in a zero. I think trading is gambling, and you're going to see all these people saying they've got systems, and they make it sound exotic and complicated. Well, it's not. I take the approach where buy a lot of a good company, put some stock away, and then in the event of a discovery, a mineral discovery, if you've got 5 to 500,000% profit, take it. But I see owning a share as a journey, as being a part owner with a company. And if you can find the right management teams, the right sectors, you can make a lot of money. And it's much maligned because a lot of the mainstream press won't touch what I do, which is great because there's the opportunity.
Yeah. And so the point there is that, you might pick up 10 stocks, you do a bit of work on them, you figure out, like the management, there's an interesting story there, And basically, you're playing a portfolio, aren't you? You know, not all of them will come good, but out of that portfolio, you might get one or two that will do really well, and that covers the losses or the static movement on the other ones. So there is actually method in the madness to be able to spread the portfolio and spread the risk, but you have to do the work, don't you, to be able to spot those early in the piece.
Yeah, I've developed, it's taken me 22 years. I mean, I've written books on markets. I talk at conferences. I get to know everyone. I worked out who the colourful people are I shouldn't deal with. But yeah, and people come to me to raise money so we can get it at an attractive price, a little bit below the market. I'm there to help a company grow, not ruin it. But it's just interesting that now a few of my biotech companies are involved in respiratory diseases. And some viewers might have seen Meso Blast came up with one of their Remestel, worked in COVID patients. So I think we're going to see a move in regenerative medicine, fibrosis of the lungs, breathing issues, diagnosis, all come to the fore. So in up to 2015, the banks outperformed. From 2015, gold producers have absolutely smashed the banks. I think the next phase is going to be healthcare. And it's going to be quite exciting because if you look at it, the long-term effects of this virus aren't known. So companies can raise money, they can speculate on it. It's a bit like a psychic medium who says they can talk to the dead. They can still make a lot of money because some people still believe that shit and it hasn't been proven. So they're going to have a lot of sharks in the industry, but I've latched onto the good companies. And I get a bit disheartened, Martin, because I read in the comments that someone might have bought a stock and it's dropped a bit, but that's outside my control. It's still a good company, but when you've got nights where the Dow is down 2,000 points, there's not a bloody thing I can do about it, and it's almost expected. But read the announcements. I mean, I put up my top 11 stocks. I'm not afraid to do it. I work with the companies. I know what they're doing. Some of my exploration companies can't drill because of state border issues as well. But they're good companies. And this is where the windfall returns are going to be made. But you've got to get slapped around a lot and you've got to look stupid. And I look stupid a lot of the time as well. But the rewards are certainly there.
And I guess you have to think not just a few months, but you have to think a few years. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's a fair statement. I read a book, 100 Baggers by Christopher Mayer, and some of these US companies like Monster Beverages took about 7.5 years to increase 100 times in value. So they are out there, and there has been a lot of stocks that have made discoveries. If you back the right geologists with the right majors helping them, there's windfalls that can be made. And what I noticed when the market was getting poleaxed was risk was on sale. I liken a lot of the stocks we were buying as buying a beachfront house in Curl in the late 80s. That's how I see it. I don't care. People can put crap on me. I don't tell people how to trade Rolex and Tag Heuer watches. I'm involved in it. I live and breathe it. Yes, I get belted around a bit, but the rewards are there if you do it right. And I don't tell people how to trade their own markets. So yeah, there's a lot of paranoia around.
Okay, very interesting. And one other question, we actually from the Twitter feed today, that they were asking about the agri section of the, because there's a theory that some of the next things that we're going to be short of are food and water. Have you looked at any of those as well, or have you focused just on the bio side?
It was funny, at the time Borat came out, he sang the national anthem of Kazakhstan, which include potassium, and that was around the potassium, potash, sulfate of whatever bubble, and that was way back in 2007.
Yeah.
So there are some potash stocks in WA that have attracted like Australian super fund interest. I mean, hopefully they don't have to bail out with all these super funds, but look, I am looking at that sector because I do think it could stay, could be quite important. There was a little company called Trig Mining which listed at 20 cents and went straight back to 4 cents. So there are potash stories, especially in WA, that have attracted institutional interest. But I admit I've been more focused on the bio side of lately, which is now, I think, coming to the fore, as I said, with this dreaded virus and the breathing implications and the fact that we need diagnosis. So, yeah, that was a good question. I actually saw that on Twitter, but I had to stop reading because I was getting a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, there's a few questions there. Okay, so do you want to sort of give a couple of pointers to a couple of the ones that people should look at? I mean, obviously, no, this isn't financial advice, it's just your general impression, but people are always interested in your views.
Absolutely. I think out of my top stocks, proteomics to me looks the most obvious. The code's PIQ. They're trading at about 31 cents. They have a diagnostic test which they're going to develop in endometriosis, and they have a chronic kidney diabetic disease test which picks kidney issues 4 years before they happen. So to me, that's a marvellous product. And they'll be a part of Johnson & Johnson called Janssen will be presenting their data in June. So to me, this is a huge opportunity. To me, this looks like a mid-sized to larger biotech company of the future. They run a lab in Netherlands where they actually test the proteins for the A2 milk company. Comes out of the CSIRO. The managing director comes to me and he's always in a brown. He looks like an op-shot style managing director. It's great. I just think the market should look at, and they're actually involved in COVID as well, the testing. I think that's a long shot. But if you've got the technology, why not have a shot at it? So it's certainly that. I've also floated a cholesterol company called Narada, which is working on lowering LDL cholesterol, and they're working on traumatic brain injury and strokes. To me, that looks like a great company. They floated at 20. I was buying it I've bought it personally between 11 and 26 cents. I believe in it. I'm there for a couple of years. So they'll be doing a virtual presentation next week as well. Exopharm are involved in exosomes, which EX1, which are hopefully going to move on from what Mesoblast have done with stem cells, because that was a huge development. So they're the biotech ones. And on the mining side, I think Minotaur Exploration and Red Metal are my buys. Minotaur just announced a huge exploration target in joint venture with Oz Minerals. And Red Metal, once they can drill, have some good targets, but they're backed by Oz Minerals as well. So they're the ones I've got a list. If people look at my pinned tweet, they're most welcome to have a look. But as I said, you can buy them, but it's like buying your car from somewhere and not getting it serviced. But I mean, I can look after people in regards to that, but it's up to them. But I give a lot of content away, Martin, and I've obviously put my money where my mouth is as well. But it's all there, and a lot of these stocks are quite low, but I see them as companies of the future.
And indeed, the fact that probably where the market has gone, they may be buying opportunities that people wouldn't have thought were there previously. So that's always, as I say, look for the bright side in a dark day. We'll put your contact details in as normal, and we should say that DFA doesn't get anything for doing this. I think it's a really interesting conversation, and Tony, you've got a bit of track record and a bit of a sense of what's going on. And I think it's good to share that with our viewers. So appreciate your time today, and we'll come back again and check back down the track.
Okay. Look forward to it, Martin. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Take care. So there you have it, some interesting advice there from Tony. And just a caveat again, this is not financial advice. We're not trying to sell you anything, but if you are interested in reaching for Tony, he's always keen to talk. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.